Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all of us, especially to our teacher, Professor Emilda Bolaño. Good morning, ma'am. And I'm here today to report my topic, Methodology in the New Millennium, which is content-based instruction. So let's get started. Today, we will define content-based instruction and related terms, consider how to structure a CBI lesson. We have to find source materials, establish language and content objectives, adopt text as needed, determine key vocabulary, develop tasks to help students understand the content, and also assess student learning. What does content-based instruction mean? Content-based language instruction is teaching English and teaching another subject area together in the same course. What are some possible content areas or subjects that can be taught in English? We have geography, we also have history, math, physics, chemistry, and many more. Now, we have different kinds of content-based language instruction. Content-based instruction, the CBI, which is the first one. Next is content and language integrated learning, the CLIL. And you also have English as a medium of instruction, or EMI. All types of content-based instruction, the CBI, the CLIL, and the EMI, have the same goals for students. What are those goals? We have first, construct knowledge and develop understanding about a topic and a learning task. So have number two, use language meaningfully and purposely. And the third one, learn about language in the context of learning through language. Content-based instruction. Again, what is content-based instruction? Content-based instruction is the integration of language teaching aims with content instruction. And that's according to Snow. Models of CBI, according to Brinton and Snow, we have sheltered instruction, theme-based instruction, and adjunct instruction. Sheltered instruction means a teacher supports students in class. It's in that part that we do scaffolding and any kind of support. We also have theme-based instruction. English class focuses on a specific theme or idea. For example, the theme is about war or a Valentine occasion. Anything that talks about love or a respect from everyone or any theme will do as long as it interests our students or learners. We also have adjunct instruction. Two teachers work together, often in university settings, one on content and also one on language. So, two teachers, ang isa is to the content and then ang isa is sa language. Okay, models of CBI. So first, sheltered instruction, commonly used in English-speaking countries with non-native students. For example, in Canada and United States. Second language students are separated from native English students. We also have either a separate class or a pull-out program. An English teacher offers additional support for understanding. May use the SIOP, or the Sheltered Instruction Observation Protocol Model by Echeverria, and it's under sheltered instruction. Example, primary school in the United States, basic science class, course is entirely in English. So the teacher carefully includes lessons to make sure that English learners understand the content. Let's proceed to the theme-based instruction. found in an English language course. Themes and topics are selected according to students' interests and needs, may be an entire course or only part of the course, contains readings, listening materials, and other content about the selected theme. We also have may integrate language skills such as listening, speaking, reading, and writing. An example, a secondary school in Japan, an intermediate spoken English class. A teacher chooses theme, marriage. Video of content, small group discussion, role playing, and writing assignments. We also have here the adjunct model. So, a content course and a language course are conducted at the same time. Language students take a separate class in addition to the regular course, often conducted with two different teachers. And again, two different teachers because the other one will focus on the content and the other one will be on the language. Assessment of content by content teacher and then language by language teacher. Example, in New Zealand. All right, introductory course in sociology. Language students join with native English speakers. Language students meet separately with English teacher. Focus on helping students understand course content by a vocabulary, reading, lectures, and prepare for writing assignments. Let's proceed to the types of content-based language instruction. Content and language integrated learning. Common in primary and secondary schools. Primary focus is on the content. Language learning takes place indirectly, often a government policy, which is popular in Europe. Exposure to language gradually increases. Example, high school in Spain, and then physical education classes, and activities are conducted about 60% in English and then 40% in Spanish. A fair amount of explicit language support. So, fair amount of explicit language support is when the student needs your assistance, then you can give enough time for that. And since percentage is also given for you to consider that you have to somehow support your learner. But make sure it's fair amount. Okay. English as medium of instruction. So common at university level. Focus is on content, which is delivered in the second language. Intensive exposure to the second language, but may not have explicit language instruction. Example, a university in Saudi Arabia, graduate level courses in law. Books, lectures, writing, and exams are all in English. Minimal explicit language support. Okay. Minimal explicit language support. Why minimal? Because in English as the medium of instruction, the, the medium itself is already English. All right, so a short review. The models of CBI, we have content-based instruction. Um, I mean, sheltered instruction, theme-based instruction, and then the adjunct model. Content and language integrated learning, and English is a medium of instruction. All right. So again, all types of content-based instruction, the CBI, CLIL, and the EMI have the same goals for students. So these three. Okay. Make sure also to consider your own school context. If you're teaching kids, adults, teenagers, and especially the setting or the environment. For example, you're teaching Korean, Japanese, or Filipino learners. So you have to adjust. You have to get or be reminded with what particular model you are going to apply in your class. Well, anyway, before you start teaching in a particular class, You'll be attending professional developments through seminars, workshops, and also you'll be required to attend classes on how to manage or on how to have a class with these different school contexts with varied learners. Okay, so we have to balance language and content because as you teach the content, your students are also learning the language itself. Okay, so planning and structuring lessons. Structuring lessons we have here. First is we have to find source materials, references, establish content objectives, establish language objectives. So as you can see here, we are teaching the content and at the same time we are learning the language. Okay, and that is content-based instruction. You're teaching something and then at the end of that discussion, the student will also learn the language that they want to learn or that you need to teach and that your students need to acquire. Adopt text as needed, says part of your materials. Determine key vocabulary. Develop tasks to help students understand the content and assess student learning as the last part of your lesson. Okay, so establish content objectives, establish language objectives. So, what is the target? What do I want the students to be able to do as a result of the instruction? So, those questions are under these two establishing your objectives, maybe in content and a language objectives. Okay, so we have here content objectives, for example. Students will be able to describe the water cycle, explain how evaporation works, give examples of different kinds of precipitation. You are teaching this kind of content. And at the same time, the students will also be learning a language learning. So the students will be able to define 3 key vocabulary terms, use the simple present tense correctly in a spoken explanation, and write a well-structured paragraph. But of course, this depends with your learner's level. If you think that this is too much or your objective is to really not realistic, not time bounded, and that your students may find it difficult to achieve your set objectives, then you have to adjust and modify them. Okay, so again, your content objectives is they will be able to describe the water cycle, explain how evaporation works, give examples of different kinds of precipitation. And as they learn all those contents, they will be also learning 3 vocabulary terms. So they're learning language. Okay, so we have here adopt text as needed. So we have here our text. And Earth is truly unique in its abundance of water. Water is necessary to sustain life on Earth and helps tie together the Earth's lands, oceans, and atmosphere into an integrated system. Precipitation, evaporation, freezing and melting, and condensation are all part of the hydrological cycle and never-ending global process of water circulation from clouds to land, to the ocean, and back to the clouds. Okay, so we have here the vocabulary profile. Earth is truly unique, so we have just here the text, and as you can see, you have the legend, the red, the green, and then the blue. The blue ones represent the academic word list words. So, and then the black are off list words. So, in this legend, we are going to have a profiling. This is applicable to students who are really who are new to the English language, or Koreans or Japanese. But in Filipinos, we can agree nga ang atong mga estudyante already have that learnings in English because they'll be watching movies, and even if they're just kids, they can even speak English naman. So, this profiling is very much important if ang atong mga estudyante is kanang from the places nga maglisod gud sila ani using the English language. Imuhang i-identify ng profiling, and then asa dapit sila maglisod or asa dapit ang part ani niya nga mga words ang dili niya masabtan. And then imo siyang gamiton in your lesson using another a lesson presentation, and then imo tong piliin tong mga words nga iyahang napakita nimo nga okay maglisod ko or I don't know this thing or this word. Okay, next, methods for simplifying